Hello and welcome to Dragon Age Season 3, Vlog 11. Woo! Yeah, there was a lot that went on.
A lot of shit that happened in session.
Oh yeah.
I like puzzles. And
Mhm.
then, so it was like a roleplay, puzzle, roleplay, and yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, can I just say, it was a little moment, but I loved when Leon at the very end with Pyrus actually considered the mind manipulation. He's like, he's starting to genuinely like consider stuff. Like the dragon blow wasn't too bad, but if he was like, okay, something for the future, like it's starting to do a descent. I really like that.
You gotta, because if you jump full feet in, it's hard, but if you slowly erode your bottom line more and more and more, it
Mm-hmm.
becomes easier and easier.
Don't do it, Leon.
Don't do it, Leon.
Don't do it.
Daretham is like, don't do it, but Dominic is like, do it.
Do it.
I really like that scene with Pyrus and Leon at the end because you got to see a side of Pyrus that you probably have not used to seeing him, because he was actually getting a little emotional there somewhat.
Yeah, he's an immortal book that's been around for thousands of years. You know.
The thing you have to understand, this is he's a tool and he realizes he's a tool, number one. Number two, it's hard for him to get like emotional because if he gets attached to you, he's gonna outlive you. So
100%.
you're gonna get passed to a whole new group of people. So it's probably like for his own mental sanity, he probably can't be overly like attached to you, but he does seem to genuinely care a lot about Leon. And he said that he misses his parents, and I feel like he has made it a point never to admit that he misses prior owners. But being in that house again, he realizes he really does miss David and Clara Faust. And probably will miss Leon when he gets passed on to Leon's offspring, you know.
Yeah.
That happened
Hint,
to work.
nudge, nudge.
Hit him.
Yeah, it seemed like Hark was going pretty hard on the what is it, romance side quests for
Yeah,
some folks.
like this session beyond Tirashan stuff was just like romance everything.
Yeah. Well, you got to
was the
start
first
early.
part.
We're like halfway through.
I was gonna say there's even some hashtag Pyrus Leon going in there too. Some peon. That's it, peon.
Oh no.
That sounds very dirty.
No,
Does
then
sound.
imagine the peon from Warcraft games.
Work.
Work.
All
right.
All right.
Also, gotta love both all four of Daretham, Tyrion, Dominic, and Ethan forgetting about traps for a second. Again.
Yeah. Yes.
Literally, as soon as I start lockpick, I'm like, fireball
And
to the
you're-
hands again. Fuck
Yeah.
this. Oh no.
I didn't even think about it. Like, all right, I'm just gonna. I actually, it was in the back of my mind. I was like, okay, this might happen again, but I doubt it. And then it was like, oh, for crap. There's a joke. There's a joke in some of my circles where the person who always hits the traps are also known as trap finders because they do hit them. So and I think
Yeah.
Tyrion becomes the trap finder now. You just okay. I'm just.
We're just
So-
gonna have to make you a backpack that automatically like deploys the med kit whenever you go on something.
Are my hands damaged again though? Because I'm gonna go to the big process again.
Yeah, and then what is it? The Rousseau reveal. Ooh.
I have actually a
Oh.
question for that. Maybe both Hark or Russo, probably, but was that a thing from the get-go that Russo decided on, or was it a Hark
Nope, that was a complete Hark retcon that I've never
retcon?
done before.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
What
Got
was? I'm sorry.
That he's
A scaled one?
yeah.
Yeah, no, that was one of his secrets that he didn't know about. That was one of his secrets.
That was
First off, excellent.
Yeah, left field. Like no. Yeah.
Well, I
Good,
figured
good
it was about
twist.
to happen as soon as we walked in the house, and it's like, oh yeah, your mom's on that portrait. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I have a feeling that nobody saw that going into Leon Faust's house was going to be so Russo centric.
Yeah, no.
Just like that one session that ended up being very Tyrion centric.
Mm-hmm.
As
Darren,
well.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for this session because I figured no one would suspect that it would be very Russo centric today.
Yeah, it is curious because the Rousseau's father has been mentioned, but he hasn't really been brought up as a crucial plot point.
No.
And so it seemed like it was kind of just not a part of the story that that Tommy or Hark, neither of you wanted to point to. It's just fine. And then it came to this, and then I was like, oh, so he's an egg. Okay.
Yeah. He was an egg. Yeah.
It was an
And
egg.
Which, by the way, when you said red hair, my mind, like, it's in my notes because I was writing down notes and ritual on a test subject, as it was said to make scale ones more powerful, and notes on the ritual subject still alive, but it's changing. Leon is a scaled one.
Oh.
Too many red
far.
heads.
You had a 50-50 chance on the gingers.
So close.
I thought because it was David and Clara, and the thing is, I think I actually like slightly dozed off and fell asleep because I had like 3 hours of sleep or something. Apologies for that, but but I didn't realize, like I said, that it was Lyra, Illyria. So then I just didn't make the connection, and I was like, wait, David and Clara are like infertile, and they like made a kid.
Grow a baby.
But no, Rousseau was the one who was grown.
In Dragon Age Inquisition, I believe there is a conversation you can have with Iron Bull. And I believe Iron Bull makes some mention that alludes to this rumor that Kosith originated from dragons somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not something I made up.
No, I knew about like the general idea that Kosith were related to dragons.
Right. So I thought scaled ones, and then I'm like, ooh, wait a minute. So yeah, that was.
So scaled ones were still around. They just evolved into Kosith.
Well, that's what we know, but either that or maybe in the case of Russo, his evolution was processed with blood magic to the point where he did become.
And actually, that's a good point because Balm exists, and so he would have been converted from a scaled one, and we know Ancient Devine love their blood magic, so that actually makes sense for why they would exist, because Kosith did not exist at that point. Which means that what if like oh sorry, go ahead.
No, here's a question for Russo. How does he, like, as opposed to a player and as a character, how do you/he feel?
Me, I'm perfectly happy with the plot point. I think it was a nice twist to actually get Russo like still relevant for later on in the game past the trial.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Russo's the kind of guy that doesn't really open up unless you're approaching him about stuff, and I've role played that pretty heavy. So for me, I was really happy to have that plot point. Russo, on the other hand, is like, oh man, my whole life's just as much of a lie as I've let on to my kin.
Aww.
Yeah, it's like he had
it was an amalgamation of like, maybe I wasn't the one that messed up. Maybe it was like a whole family lineage. Maybe it's like it's mass confusion and anger was where he was at.
Yeah, I wonder how he will feel when he learns that he was actually blood magicked to where he is now.
And there's a blood mage in our party, like
who's the son who did the testing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
well,
also,
to be fair, by Lyria's request, she was the one who requested it. It wasn't It wasn't Leon's parents. Leon's parents just agreed to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just knows there's a ritual, but not a blood magic.
A blood ritual, yeah.
Also, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and I wonder how that's going to affect the conversation with Leon, because Russo is very suspicious now. And will this, realization about his lineage sort of wipe his mind of his suspicions, or just make them even stronger? So
I'm really curious to see that scene. Actually, I don't know how it's gonna play till we get there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like I'm anticipating it now just as much as I was anticipating like Russo and Daretham.
I do love that I physically like knocked a tree down in anger. I was settled
Yeah.
just for like a little block knocked out of it.
Leon or Sam, how does Leon feel about A, knowing that his parents lied to him about how they met, and B, knowing that you supposedly are a descendant of the very first blood mage from Dumat?
Wow. So he is a little shocked that his parents would, lie about something so simple as where they met. Because, I mean, that doesn't really seem like something you would lie about unless there was some special secret in there. So it's a little off-putting, but he still trusts that his parents are in it for the best of him. But, it's adding to that suspicion. And then a descendant of the first blood mage. I mean, he knew he was special, because the blood magic book, but that's a little extra special. He'd want to do a lot more research on it, as well as maybe ensure that no one else knows this secret, because just being a descendant of the first blood mage would probably put you in danger, especially through Templars.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, can you imagine if Sir Garrison got a hold of those notes?
Oh no!
I feel like a lot of this would have been way different if Sir Garrison
Oh,
was in
hell
the party.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah!
Yes, we were lucky we not bring him.
Yeah, I was lucky here.
Yeah, seriously. Like,
That would've stuff.
I was just gonna say, like, Deep Roads, Garrison will probably be okay enough when he realizes Cedric is in on it. But
I was pretty intent on Sir Garrison going to the woods with you, if not for the fact that Sam rolled really high on his persuasion. That was the only thing that kept Sir Garrison from joining your party and taking up a valuable slot.
And Rosie too. So
that's true. Rosie helped a lot. Yes.
Yeah, and Leon gets to live for another week. It's a good time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So tinfoil has conspiracy. So Kossuth were around for a while, but then they weren't around. But then they came back in a big batch of numbers, and we know about this first blood. Is it Talcian or Taliesin?
Yeah, this is an actual character in Dragon Age lore. Talcian, Thalsian.
Talcian.
If you do a THA, yes.
Okay,
you can actually look that up.
So Talcian, right? This guy did a bunch of stuff, and then he somehow survived because blood magic, so he's like more immortal stuff now. And then he is like behind the Kossuth, and he's like the big bad villain of the campaign, and he makes like an army of Kossuth. Tinfoil hat conspiracy. Done.
Or my theory was, what if Pyrrhus is
Talcian. That's another one that's like, yeah,
because Pyrrhus doesn't seem to remember a lot.
Yeah,
that could easily, I think, be Talcian.
Yeah, anyway. Interesting puzzles, very difficult ones.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of puzzles, how did you guys like the Tirlishan Forest?
I enjoyed it.
It was cool. It was different.
Yeah.
It was different than usual. I don't think we had any puzzle like dungeon sorts, quote unquote. We can say.
I will
I've
say
got to
at
ask.
least. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, what was going to happen with the graves?
Yeah.
What was going to happen?
Well, I just want to ask, what would have been failure for every single part? Like.
Yeah. So you've been so for spring, the idea was the happy trees were pointing to the correct direction. The angry trees were pointing, the frightened trees were pointing in the opposite direction of where you were supposed to go. So the angry trees were pointing in a direction that would have brought you into danger, like either some sort of like trap-like effect or running into an encounter, basically.
And the sad trees?
And the sad trees just gave you like hints, like visions. Like if you guys continued getting stuck, the puddles would have given more hints as to what you're supposed to do.
Got it.
Okay.
For the summer, when you were in the graveyard, yes, you were correct in that nothing bad would actually happen until every party member's tombstone was in the middle. At which point, then these zombie-like rotting beings would break out of their graves. And yes, for flavor text, they would look as if your own bodies were dead. Like your own dead, decaying bodies would have come out of the graves to attack you.
Oh my god, imagine the reveal if they saw like Darkspawn Daretham as a zombie.
He just comes
Like-
up as an elf because he's got to look like the opposite of you.
Or a zombie valor.
Oh no.
Zombie
Oh
valor would have
no.
been terrible.
Oh no. Oh no.
What would happen in autumn? Because that was
Autumn was probably like the less dangerous one, because it literally was you had just been wandering in the forest forever until you split up. So that was just starvation, basically, was the only threat there. And then obviously winter was the threat. Really, the main threat was the cold. But you guys solved that really quickly, which I was happy about.
Yeah, the funny thing is, at least for me, like in my head, spring and summer were pretty hard, but I like as soon as it was like only one may know, I was like, we gotta split the party. It was like right away. I knew because it's the one thing D&D parties never do. And then in winter, I think it was just all of us combined managed to do it really.
yeah. In that scene, I liked how like with anyone who knows of the forge, then just go immediately like Rosie.
Look, he's at the door.
Yeah, I do love that every scene. It's like, oh god, can you two just kiss already?
Oh no. Well, Leon is very inexperienced and doesn't quite know what he wants anymore.
Just do it.
Clearly, everyone in the back row was just like, yeah, we see it.
Yeah, it's like, no, so that,
buddy.
buddy.
Just do it for God's sake.
By the end of this, we're just going to be like from the Little Mermaid. They'll be on the lake, and the party members popping up from under the water. Sha-la-la-la-la-la.
Yeah.
Kiss the girl.
No, the wah-wahs are about.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's Valor.
Love the early role plays we had. The you
Yeah.
role plays that Park wanted to do. Those were good to do.
Do you want to go like down order for that? Like, I'll go through all 5, talk about them.
Sure.
So first one would have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darren and Darren. They're still. That door is still there.
Yeah. Like, honestly, like legit, Daretham was planning to end it. He was like, I could die from this cure thing, and you kind of flinched at first, and there was some stuff, so I was just like, it's not going to work out. You know what? I'm okay with that. And then that happened, and Daretham forgot to say all that, and now he's like,
Yeah.
I got feelings.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No, that was great. I loved that because I wasn't sure. I was prepared for getting friend zoned, for Darren getting friend zoned, because, you know,
Yeah.
I think even after that talk with Darren, I think that the implication from Nathan, when Nathan was saying, oh, the way that Darren looks at Nathan, the way that Darren looks at Tyrion, he saw it as like something that was threatening. I saw it as Darren still kind of is interested in Tyrion in many ways as well. So she's still kind of playing to see which one bites. I think she's still, yeah. Right now, yeah, the door's still open.
Sorry, I just had a thought. For any Witcher 3 players, in this version, Darren is Geralt, and Tyrion and Daretham are Yennefer and Triss.
Yennefer and Triss. Yes.
Yeah. Well, at some point, what if Darren chooses both of them?
Then you have the scene where Daretham and Tyrion team up to be like, oh yeah, sexy times. Now we're chaining you to the bed. That's what you get. And then they swan off
All
together.
romances.
Then Rusoletta.
Yeah.
Rusoletta.
Approve.
Yeah, that's I don't know how Tommy feels about that, but
I mean, he's still open to Violetta. Obviously, the two just met, so he's still feeling her out. But she's been way more friendly at Russo than he's really used to being with. Like, even with Hilda and a lot of his other experiences, it's been very antagonistic or like bickery to get stuff done. So we'll see.
I think it does make sense because Rousseau's lived in Novara for so long that a lot of Violetta's like eccentricities he might not affect him as much as it might affect other people. Because a lot of the things she has is kind of, creepy in a very Addams Family kind of way. So, who knows?
I could definitely like see.
I'm glad she confirmed our theory about the hammer being bugged.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm 100% positive now. Leon being a blood mage, and Balin being the Guardian of Fire, and me being an Awakened Darkspawn. Well, actually not Leon, but the other two are completely outed to
because
Antonia.
objection was there for key bits.
Yeah, it's a good thing that Russo didn't find out about Leon. Well, still hasn't found out about Leon.
Well, the thing is, in the grand scheme of things, Leon is one blood mage. So that's like blackmail on you. Balin controls the entire region of the Anderfels and parts of Deventer, and Awakened Darkspawn. So,
yeah,
which nobody knows about, not even the king of the land that he is on top of. So, yeah.
I'm happy that she didn't know about my slave stuff.
We may have to make a trip back and be like, yo.
This throne, it's mine.
Hey, girl, not cool.
So she kills it.
Then we had Tathan, which was very cute, I thought.
Leon and Russo, then was Tathan. But anyway, yeah, that was interesting to talk about. I wanted to kind of break the ice between like Tyrion and Nathan because there wasn't much. There was some things going on, but it wasn't like in heavy. I think in this session where
I said I liked that you got him to open up a lot, especially with his thoughts on magic and what his fear was, and
his law.
Right, exactly. But yeah, go ahead.
Like I said, it was. And the one I was like that I'm hoping for next session will happen eventually is a talk between Tyrion and Darren, like that he asked about the whole Darren situation, and like I think I was honest, I don't have a clear answer on that one, because as a player, it's like if he finds out about
Daniel Lento.
If Dandelion tells the whole too, then maybe he will like he'll get like a crystal picture, like okay, then we were both right. In this situation where he doesn't yet know, he's conflicted. Because on the one hand, he thinks he's right. On the other hand, he thinks they're both right.
Yeah.
It's like,
I found some parallels between something that Nathan said and something that Callista said, or Pasha said later on, where Nathan brought up the point with his mom saying people like guards are meant to serve and protect people first, not serve and protect the law first. And I saw that to be somewhat related to Pasha saying something along the lines of sometimes the doctrine or the religious doctrine doesn't always agree with the heart.
That was a great line.
Or the scripture doesn't agree with the heart. Yeah, so
that was a wonderful line.
Saw some very similar themes there.
And I like how Nathan is sort of like he is his father, but he also sees that certain laws. He's like he doesn't know like what is what is lawful and what is not.
Like Maximilian's lawful good, Nathan's like half neutral good.
Yeah, he's lawful by default, but in extreme cases he can see, a lot of influence from his mother. So,
and I hope and I like the whole thing where I told like you're would you agree the law that was given to Darren wasn't applied to me. How would you see that? Would it be justified or not?
I loved during your scene, Taryn, when you were talking about how you were, really worried that, like, what if Amaran finds out I can turn into a dragon? And because I'm so excited for the Amaran showdown. I'm so excited for that.
And speaking of it, I'm sad. Well, I know maybe there might be more. That I found nothing on Emran yet in the House of Leon. Yet, and I'm like, where's the? I mean, my theory he's Dark Oak because
Find that. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe you need to look up some. You need to figure out that Dark Oak riddle because I haven't been giving any hints on that on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Amaran has a tramp stamp of an oak tree.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll just, like, he turns around and everyone...
Dark Oak.
The Dark Oak puzzle or riddle is something that you don't need to know yet, plot-wise. But if you do figure it out early, that's up to you.
You have to find out there's logs of like the Dark Oak stuff, like in my mind, it's like, all right, that must be Amron, or that's his guess, because as far as he knows, he doesn't know the whole like what's Amron doing inside, but with the whole Amron and the family, House family, like beating each other, I was like, okay, why? So yeah.
But by the way, real awesome way to do the fight, because if we know what's happening, Tyrion is captured by Darren. Darren gets her freedom from indentured servitude. Tyrion's like is shackled in Amaran. He turns into a dragon in front of Amaran, claws the face out, and then Darren's free. Tyrion's free. We all win.
Yay!
There you go. Yay!
Then Archon Radonis shows up and takes over to Vinter.
Yeah.
Yay!
That conversation that might happen next time, possibly, because who knows?
Narika and Pasha.
Ooh.
Tea time with, yeah.
I like the friendship the two of them have. I'm
Yeah.
just like, it's lovely. They're tea
Narisha.
buddies.
Or Pashika. Narisha or
Ooh.
Pashika. I like
I like
that.
Kashika.
Pashika.
Narika, either, yeah. Pashika is either.
At some point, I'd like... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, so I was just going to say, some of the things she said in that I found so interesting. And I'm like, I want to know more. It was oh God, because I didn't get a chance to write it down. But it was the comment about everything I hide wouldn't hurt you.
Correct.
And I want you to know that. And like, that's suspicious right there.
Yeah.
And 2 was that it was something about it was when she was talking about hiding herself and not being able to show her true face.
Her true
something
face.
along that.
Correct.
And I'm like
Yeah. Nope. Yep, you're right.
Also, especially because of Andre, this is meta knowledge, but Andre at the end, you know who that is, right? So I'm like,
Yep.
you're not like at this stage. I'm like, Narika isn't who she says she is, but it's not because Narika's a spy. It's because maybe Narika's gone through a body swap. Maybe Narika's somewhat else. I don't know, but like it's like we've gone past the level of Narika is a spy. At this stage, I'm like, I don't think Narika exists. I think this is a different person with.
I have been dropping subtle hints on Narika's identity for a while. Super while. And I'm wondering how many of you or my viewers might be catching on to those hints. Because I think I dropped a lot of hints today. I think another thing that I dropped was how Narika was mentioning that she had been involved with a group with like all these coincidental like relationships, and it's like, yeah, there's something to her. Yes.
At some point, I do want to talk about talk to the merchant about other things, but ooh.
Yeah.
And then there was also Leon and Rosie.
Oh, no. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to doing potions and the like.
Yes.
Seeing what we can come up with. That'd be great. And then seeing what other sort of instruments we could like. She's Leon is interested in enchanting things, and in order to do that, you need the help of either someone who has been, the mages where they lose their mind, or
Tranquil or dwarves.
tranquil or dwarfs. Yeah, in order to do any enchantments. So I think that'd be fun to do as well.
Prior to this session, did anyone think about the commonality of Leon's things with plants and her relationship with her father, and how her father always likes to get poisonous things? Yeah.
No, I think it was in this session. It was like seen. There are quite a few commonalities because one, Theobin is a poisoner. He wants to search for all like the ingredients, and we have Leon who he's not searching for these, he's more studying them.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, in order to heal someone, you have to learn how to harm them first.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of harm, can't fucking wait to see Leon meet Theobin.
Ready for those diagrams.
Oh no.
Oh my
He's gonna rock chain you to the table and just show them all.
Okay, I have a question for Sam. How much are you into the whole idea of the romance between Leon and Rosie?
I mean,
As a
I'm open
player.
to it. I mean, it seems pretty natural so far, and there's a few compounding factors for it. So it's yeah.
Okay. Okay. Who do you think will end up making the first move?
Oh no.
None of them.
Neither of them. It'll be
Neither
the group. It'll be all of us. No.
The grown-ups.
It'll be like Theobin.
It'll be like in Dragon Age Origins when you have to we speak to Alistair and if you want to get Alistair and the Queen.
Honora.
I try to get them to get Honora, and you try to you speak to both of them, try to get them together, like in the back.
It's like the party is going to be the people who get them together, even though they won't get together.
Yeah, not open. It's more like I go to Leon. Hey, Leon, like have you thought about it? And then maybe Patrick comes
Even
first.
Sir Garrison and Pyrrhus are shipping them.
Yeah.
Sir Garrison and Pyrrhus. And Sir Garrison and Pyrrhus are like so diametrically opposite of each other, and they're still shipping the two of them.
Pretty much every single person who has seen them has said, "Yeah, kiss."
Just do it.
Man.
So speaking of shipping, because I'm curious. So Darren still is kind of interested in both Tyrion and Daretham. Is that next talk with Tyrion going to be like maybe not the deciding factor, but like a big factor in figuring out?
Yes. I mean, I'm gonna start with Darren next time. That's a big possibility because it was either gonna be between. So originally it was gonna be between Darren and Nathan. I already had trouble with Nathan, so now it's Darren. With a player, I don't know who honestly at the moment. I was thinking about Bruce about what happened with his son and all that, but I think he wants some alone time with this whole true skilled one stuff.
Mm-hmm. We had like 2 bombshell sessions, like pretty much right after each other.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the whole Tyrion, Daretham stuff. I mean, we'll see how it's going to turn out between Tyrion and Darren.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we find a graveyard that Tyrion can invite Darren to.
No. Yes, it's my status, but no.
That I'm just convinced of this is Tyrion's technique. Where's the creepiest location that's nearby? We should go there. It'll be so romantic.
Is it bad? I feel like there's a horror theme park version of the Necropolis just right next to it.
Oh no, it was like, let's go to the theme park Necropolis, and no one realized.
Yes. Also, Sam, unfortunately, there were a lot of other herbs you could have found had you explicitly told me that you were searching for it in the different seasons. So each season has its own plants. So spring had the black lotus, summer had the ghoul's beard because you explicitly were looking for plants there. Fall had the Amrita vein, and winter had the Philanderis.
Oh, okay. 1 out of 4.
You got 1 out of the 4.
Oh well.
So, It's okay. Those could have been really nice gifts for somebody.
You gotta get the affection stat up. You gotta like slowly build it up over time. And then
You don't want to just shower them with gifts and be like, "Here,
yeah, it's
come
not
into my
Origins
tent."
where they're all materialistic as fuck.
yeah, because if you give like a big batch at one point, they'll be like, "Oh, where's the next big batch of presents?" So you gotta slowly build up, and then you gotta get the like the parents in there as well. Slowly
That's
give them
right.
gifts.
Well, that can be arranged with the Oben.
Going to
Yes.
the Deep Road's most romantic setting ever,
Play the long game. Play the long game. That's fine.
Oh, by the way, real quick, 2 points. One, both on costume. Number one, Hark. I've noticed for a while the nose is slightly off center.
There you go.
Sorry.
I just have one thing. I'm fine. I'm glad that Pasha and Russo finally had like a little bit of a
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
Overdue.
Yeah.
That was well done. That was well done between you two guys.
Yeah. Great way to end the session, I agree.
Yeah, I'd
Excellent
like to
job.
see more of the Russo Pasha sort of uncovering of, the lost child and the mother who has too many children.
I was so tempted because when Pasha was saying Balin loves you and I care for you, I was so tempted because I was like, I think she does love Russo. She loves all of her children and he was her child for 2 years. But I think she was also like, I think that could mess him up. Hearing that now, this is not an appropriate time. Just go for care.